Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm back with another stream tonight. It's currently 8:13 p.m. on March 27, 2025, and we're going to play the Half-Life 2 RTX demo tonight, or we're going to try, at least. Hi, Max Martian. Hi, Tedosaur. Hello, better watch that bottleneck. Yeah, I know. We'll see how well this works on stream. I actually had a really good performance with the game off of stream. I'm just not sure if encoding on the GPU and streaming at the same time will run into any problems. Hi, Vizzies. Welcome. Because I played a little bit of the demo beforehand and had pretty good results, but this is my first time streaming it. But I really wanted to play through it because there's a lot of buzz about it right now, and I'm really impressed by it, by the release. And Orbifold Studios includes Kralik, who worked on Entropy 02. So I know him personally, at least, and I'm really excited to see what their team has been cooking up. I haven't streamed in a little while. I had a little bit of a stream break, and so I wanted to get back into it. This stream, I think, is going to be a little bit more laid back, a little bit more free form. I don't have a whole lot to say. I just mostly wanted to get back into streaming and chill out and play through this demo. I want to get back into mapping streams as well. That's something I've been thinking about for a while, but where I'm at with my projects isn't a great time for mapping streams. Like, I don't have anything to really map at the moment, but that's something that's been on my mind, so hopefully I can schedule some more in the future. Hi, Boom Donuts. Welcome. Boom Donuts says, one of the YouTubers I watched streamed both Easy 1 and Easy 2 recently. Oh, nice. Feel free to post links to their playthroughs in my Discord or in the Entropy 02 Discord. I'd love to see that, actually. I think that would be a lot of fun. I like watching people play through. Did they like it, and did they find any major bugs? I'm going to get set up. One problem that I've been having with Half-Life 2 RTX is that every time I tab out of the game, because I'm running it at 1080, it goes back to this like windowed borderless mode. Like, so it's set to full screen. If I say run in a window, of course that's what you'd expect. Then I go full screen, and then everything was black for a second. It looks full screen to me, but on my stream it still looks... Oh, hello. Hi, Tedosaur. Welcome on Twitch. On my screen, it's still... Or on stream, it still looks small. This is bad. Shoot. I wonder if there's a way to... like, super sample it. Like, it will do this. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna run it at 1440 for now. This seems bad, though. Should have planned for this. I should have set my monitor's resolution to 1080. Normally, I have my monitor at 1440 and then the stream downsamples to 1080. If I had thought about that a little bit more beforehand, maybe I would have changed my monitor's native resolution. We'll try it at 1440. So I'll show FPS. Boom Donut says, yep, they liked it. At the moment, she's doing streams of Portal 2, and during her Portal 1 stream, she called GLaDOS Wilson. That's great. Feel free to link that playthrough, because I like seeing, especially if there's anything like unusual or buggy that happened to the playthrough. It's good. So I have my FPS counter in the top right side of the screen. I don't know if that really shows up. Right now, it's at a stable 60 FPS. We'll see if we're able to keep that up. I'm going to go straight into Ravenholm because we'll need to do some more adjustment of the settings once we get in. Ooh, that looks kind of grainy. 60 FPS. Okay, that's good. There's something kind of funky going on. I'm not sure what it is, because it looked different than this when I wasn't streaming. Interesting. Looks kind of noisy. Oh yeah, feel free to join the Discord server, Boom Donuts. So let's open up our developer console here with Alt-X. So... Save settings. I'm going to turn the brightness all the way down. Rendering preset is medium. That lowers the number of light bounces. I'm going to turn off VSync. All the content is enabled. Developer settings. There's a lot of things that we can tweak. I'm not able to turn on DLSS frame generation. I think that's because I have an NVIDIA 3090. I'm looking at it. Yeah, I've got an RTX 3090. And I think frame generation is something that was added on the most recent cards. Reconstruction. Exclusive full screen mode. Interesting. Okay. So we have a lot of things we can tweak. I'm not going to tweak this too much because I don't know what all of the settings do and I don't want to mess up the appearance. Interesting. There was one setting that I wanted to tweak that was how quickly volumetrics update. I saw this in a 2Clicks Philip video. I wish Remix has some preset capabilities. Yeah, it does have a few preset options. But it is kind of daunting just how many settings there are available. I think this looks a little bit better. I'm still noticing some like noise patterns when I move around. Not sure why that is. It does seem like the frame rate is higher though. It's a very like noisy image. I'm not sure why that is. I wasn't having that before. For the CNN model, there's also a transformer. I was noticing that. I wasn't sure if I should try tweaking that. I thought that CNN was supposed to be faster than transformer. Maybe not. It does seem to fix some of the noise issues. Where's that light source coming from? Oh, I guess that's this light. I'm really confused by why this looks different on stream than it did before. Maybe it's because my resolution settings are different. There's something about that zombie getting up that really frightened. It's like I stopped seeing it as a zombie NPC in Half-Life 2 and started seeing it more as like an actual creature. Okay, so it didn't light on fire there, so we didn't get to see the illumination effects. We can see the updated model. The things like zombies in RTX just look so gnarly. The new art assets are just amazing. So of course, this is what they always do in all the demo videos. Light these on fire and see how it lights up the entire building. I love these new assets. Like, it's just incredible the amount of detail that they put in. I think that I'm going to comment more about the asset overhaul than I am about the actual path tracing, which is kind of crazy. But they just put so much detail and care into everything. You can tell that it's a fan project. It's not something that was made only to showcase the new path tracing. Hi, Frantic. Welcome. Is the grab gun emitting light? That's a great question, and I believe that it is. So, like, if we... Maybe not. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I'm not actually able to tell. Like, when I stand near the wall, it doesn't look like it's emitting light. Oh, wait, there it is. Seems kind of finicky when it emits light versus when it doesn't. Okay, my frame rate has dropped to around 50, which is still really good for what it is. Hi, Captain X-Ray. Lighting on the normal zombies looks a bit weird. I don't know if it's the model or the lighting, but they look almost like clay figurines. I know what you mean. I think it's the materials. It's weird because RTX Remix sort of sits in between source and the screen. So it's like sort of, when they do the asset replacements, it's not using source engine materials anymore, right? It's RTX Remix assets. So it just gives everything a different look than what you would get with the shaders that are in source. So it's really trippy for me to play this because it's like it feels like Half-Life 2, but it doesn't look like Half-Life 2. It looks like its own thing. Let me see, for example, can I... Oops, I just turned brightness all the way up. Can I turn off enhanced assets? Okay. So this is what it looks like with the normal model. Oh. Okay, the flashlight doesn't work anymore. But those are the original props. It looks really weird. Really funky. Not much roughness maps? I think there's probably plenty. But I don't know, like why does it look the way it looks? I know that the materials are, like, I don't know much about them, but I think they're physically based, like PBR type materials. And I know that skin, for example, has subsurface scattering. Seeing the side-by-side is wild, exactly. Although it's not really a fair comparison because seeing the original assets in Half-Life 2 RTX still has the RTX lighting, so it looks completely different from the way that it would look in normal source engine. The props look great. Yeah, exactly. Really wish I had a computer even close to being able to play this. Yeah, I would say it's still in a state where you want to be able to tweak the settings and stuff if you play it. I really wouldn't recommend this for like a first-time player, just because there's too many things that can go wrong, you know, too many hiccups with it. I think as sort of a vision of the future, this is incredible. But I think there's nothing wrong with playing the original the way it looked back then. This is just sort of the next level. The foliage is also crazy because in source engine games, it's usually just a texture. You know, maybe there's some like little decal sprite cards.
They had become like these peculiar demons which dwell in matter, but in...
I think my GTX 1050 Ti can run this. No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. Now, I also think they might have tweaked the skybox. If I remember correctly, you can't see over this wall in Ravenholm at the beginning. Because I know the skybox is really funky in Ravenholm. Like, there is basically no skybox. Maybe I'm wrong about that, though. I don't remember. I worked on a map for one of the challenges. It was Fractured Space, where I used this area as a starting point, and then I made my own map. And that was this way, basically. We can see there's nothing over there. It's really weird to get up close to a material like this and see geometry. Because in Half-Life 2, that's just completely flat. The zombie having eyebrows kind of throws me off. Does that really... Like, I wouldn't have noticed, to be honest. Usually they have head crabs on them. He does have eyebrows. I still feel like I haven't messed with the settings enough. Like, there's like a little bit of a graininess when I move around, and I'm not sure how to address that. Also when I turn the lights on and off. Liar. We all know behind that wooden plank is a bunch of Combine that Valve hid from us. Yeah, exactly. Change CNN to Transformer. Okay, let me try it. After this zombie dies. Okay. So let's do Alt-X. Oh, I already changed CNN to Transformer. Is that what it should be? What happens if I change DLSS mode to quality? Okay, my frame rate went down quite a bit. It doesn't feel as good. And shadows look a little weird there. Transformer is way better. Yeah, so far it's looked like that. Let me try again. I didn't think this would be a mostly playing with settings stream, but I don't know what I was expecting. If I do ultra performance, oh, that's weird. Frame rate went up. Maybe auto. Balanced? Performance. Just gonna keep that at auto. What does this mean? Latency reduction settings. Reflex mode selection. Enabling it helps minimize input latency. Boost mode may further reduce latency by boosting GPU clocks in CPU-bound cases. Supported enum values are none disabled, 1 low latency, 2 low latency boost. I don't know what that does. With all these settings, I capped this one on 45 FPS. Yeah, depending on where I am, it kind of ranges from 30 to 60. Let's try if I change it back to CNN. That has this weird sort of like, I don't know what you would call that, like a shimmering effect whenever the shadow passes over something. But if you change that to Transformer, it's still there, but it is less noticeable. Mouse latency? Yeah, I'm not really noticing any mouse latency. So maybe that's why the setting didn't make any difference to me. Let's see what else we can do. Medium? What if I did high? My frame rate is going down dangerously. Movement is all weird with DLSS, yeah. What if I do ultra? Further beyond. We're down to like 20 FPS. It looks pretty choppy when I move around. So this is why I wanted to... Okay. Let me try one more time. Okay, guys. Let's try to fix this. I'm going to render it at 1080. Right? We'll do it live. I'm going to try opening up my control panel. I'm going to change my main monitor. Is this going to mess up stream? This is totally going to mess up stream. Oh boy. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try to change my main monitor to 1080. Hello? Okay. I don't think that worked. Stream still... Stream still makes it look like it's a 1440 screen. Okay, wait. Just... There we go. Perfect. Okay. Why did my frame rate go down? I guess it's because I'm still on ultra, right? This shouldn't make a huge difference on stream because I'm already streaming at 1080. So I'm not sure whether to use Transformer or CNN. Probably, yeah, we're going to stick with Transformer. I wonder what happens with this. Oh, that looks weird. Chat, I've turned the game into a painting. That was weird. Okay. Let's try this. Yeah, this does not look good. Okay, we're going back to DLSS. Looks like one of those AI generated videos. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm really just getting my bearings with these settings. Quality. Go down to high. It still looks kind of funky to me. Does it look okay? I think that's just me getting used to RTX motion blur. Yeah. Look at the details on this prop. There's text on the battery that's connected to this. What would you call this? Oh. I didn't think that one through. I wanted to see how the shadows would update.
For it was said they had become like these peculiar demons.
It's a car engine? Yeah, I wasn't sure what kind of, like, engine it is. So I wanted to see how, like, the shadows on the individual bolts update. That's crazy. It's a 350 small block from a Chevy? Why is there a propane tank attached to it? I wish I knew more about cars. It looks like everything on the other side of this volumetric is sort of shimmering. I'm still not really satisfied with my settings. I feel like I need to dial it in more. I'm sorry, guys. I thought this would be a little bit smoother. Medium? That'll boost the frame rate a little bit. Yeah, it still kind of looks like that a little bit. Does Black Mesa RTX exist? RTX Remix can be used on any game, so I'm sure somebody somewhere is working on an RTX Remix Black Mesa. But I haven't seen it yet. But I'm sure that that's something that you can do, at least. One thing that I'm noticing here is that you can actually see some of the limitations of this idea of, like, replacing all of the materials in a source engine level, because this brushwork is really simple. And if you look at the top of the stairs, there's these cracks that, like, don't really make sense. Like, how could there be a crack from weathering that's just at the top of the stair, but it doesn't go down the side at all? Like, the side is perfectly smooth, the top has this crack. You can kind of tell that it's like, well, it was a really low resolution texture and they just added in all this detail and it no longer matches. Also, there's this shape that doesn't continue all the way around. Well, I like that we can see the edge where the, I don't know what you'd call that, displacement mapping? Because this was originally just like a one face on the model, like one brush face, and the material replacement has added this whole bevel to it. I don't know. I think I've been rambling a lot. I hope this is. I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. I just kind of stumbled into this one, but I really wanted to check out the demo. What do you guys think about Half-Life 2 RTX so far? I get like 40 FPS. Yeah, technically, I mean, like, to be fair, I'm also getting about 40 FPS. I wish that this had head crab pickup like Black Mesa does, just so that I could pick up the model and look at the subsurface scattering and stuff. There we go. This is better lighting for it. It's a crazy amount of detail on the head crab. I wish I had my 3D printed head crab. I'm not sure where I put that. So for comparison with how low poly the original model was. What's your card? I've got an RTX 3090. I don't know why I have to look at it every time I say. Aren't the head crabs more bloody? I think it's kind of up to interpretation. Usually they have blood around like the underside where they would attach. And it still does. Yeah, definitely not as clean as a. I don't know if raw chicken is clean, but like it's not that. It's a gnarly model. And I like how they even added detail on like this these pliers. Like there's like a little insulated grip thing here. I don't think the original model had that. It was just kind of the bare metal. With this much configuration, there definitely is going to be expected hiccups optimization-wise. Oh, I totally agree. So one of the major drawbacks is running this on a 3090, I'm not able to use all of the frame generation options that they have. So that severely limits my frame rate, I think. Right now I'm at 45, which I think is just fine for what I'm doing. But if I had one of the newer cards, I could use frame generation to boost that. Keep opening up these settings. I think we're going to keep it at medium. I'm still on CNN. That's weird. Transformer? I think it switched it back to CNN when I changed it to medium preset. Gotta switch it to custom? Okay. Custom. Oh, now we get a lot more settings. Okay. How many light bounces do you guys think we should have? Particle light, low. Okay. I'm going to go back into that previous area so we can look at some different things. Yeah, the shimmering has gotten worse since I enabled post-processing. But it's not really noticeable if I am not looking directly at, like, an object through fog, through volumetrics. Let's see what it looks like with a moving shadow. It's not as bad as it could be. I do feel like the shadow is sort of like lagging behind the motion a little bit. My frame rate is down to 36. You can adjust the motion blur. Do you think I should turn motion blur off? Let's try disable motion blur. Are you saying that'll help with the shimmering? No. I'm not sure if motion blur will help or not. I generally dislike motion blur, so I'm going to turn that off. Yeah, that looks better. Vignette. I don't know about vignette. I like chromatic aberration, though. If I go in the developer settings menu, I wonder... I want to play with these settings, but they seem too granular. I'm afraid if I touch these settings, it's going to mess up the whole game. There are so many settings, guys. I do not know what any of these buttons do. Player model. In the dev settings, you can adjust the motion blur. I think I'll leave motion blur turned off. Motion blur is in post-processing? Yeah, I turned it off. Yeah. Let me know if there's any settings that you would like me to tweak. I'm going to keep playing for a little bit, and we'll see. Okay. Wow. Thwarted by a single head crab. I wanted to see the muzzle flash from the revolver. It goes by so quickly that you can barely notice it, but it is definitely there. What were all these zombies doing, like, chilling in this corner? It's so weird how the sounds are unaffected. It's like, it sounds like I'm playing Half-Life 2. It looks like I'm playing Half-Life 3, you know? One thing I haven't really tried out very much yet is, don't try it. Chilling like any zombie would in Ravenholm. One thing I haven't tried yet much is trying to obstruct lights to change the lighting in an area. Like, these shadows are cool, but we can do that with projected textures. Where it really gets impressive is changing the entire lighting of a scene by obstructing a light. Like, if I was to block that spotlight with this table, how would that affect the overall lighting in the scene? Fun fact, headcrabs are actually from hell. Valve hinted at this by having them hide in monster closets during Ravenholm. Is that a Doom reference? I can't get it to cover that light. The light is too big. I picked a bad light to... Okay. What if I'm just gonna... Okay. Didn't really help very much. Well, I'll find a light that's closer to the ground that I can obstruct. I love the lighting from the fire. Why do I feel like the fire rate of the SMG is lower? It must just be because my frame rate is lower, but that's not how that works, right? I don't know. I must be going crazy. Whoa. Gunfire looks sick. Yeah. That's the benefit of having entirely path trace lighting like this. Like, everything in the environment is affected. I'm trying to find something I can block that light with. Look at the details on this engine. Oop, I almost walked right into that blade. but if I cover this up, it should... Can't really look away while I'm holding this. I need some way to, like, stack things. I don't have any stackable... Okay, maybe if I stack this... That... Really need more things to stack. Oh. I kind of wish I had, like, the Gary's mod, fizz gun, so I could just... Hey, here we go. Yeah. The light is completely blocked from that source, so now the light is, the room is dim. But if I let the barrel fall, the room lights up. That's so cool. Because I've seen really sharp shadows before, and I've seen things like rooms being illuminated by gunfire. You can do all of that in a conventional lighting system, in a conventional game engine. But things like blocking a light source and having the entire room get dim, like, that's new. Is this able to load regular source maps? That is a great question. I think it is. I'm not sure if they would work, or if you need to, like, redo the lighting for the individual map in RTX Remix. It might be worth a try to, like, load up a map in Half-Life 2 RTX and see what happens.
Who is this?
Requires a lot of customization.
Eyes the same?
RTX's lighting isn't great by default. Yeah.
Eye on you. More than that, I cannot promise.
Now, the volumetrics here look a little weird, I think because of my settings. I think I might need to play with that. Let's see, I think I ran out of explosive barrels. That's unfortunate. Maybe I can trick them into walking a little bit too close to the fire. One thing I noticed in Half-Life 2 RTX is that the fire still looks a little bit low resolution, like the sprites, the particles. They don't look as high fidelity as everything else, which I don't think it's bad. I don't think it really detracts from the experience very much, but it is surprising. Between the fire and also the blood particles, it's like they don't look as high resolution as I expect. Grigori's entrance looks pretty cool with the fire and the smoke. I know, I'm being way too critical. I just know I've seen videos of it looking better than that, and I think it has to do with some of my volumetric settings. It's because they're still replacing 2D particles? I bet you're right. It's because they only can replace things that are already being rendered. Let's see. What if I change this up to high? I change this up to high, or even ultra. For some reason, this volumetric in particular just doesn't look right. I don't know why that is. Grigori's fog machine, yeah, exactly. Now, let's turn off this fire. Oh, get out of the way. I do notice that the lights seem to take a second to update. I think there's a setting you can change that affects that. But it doesn't really negatively affect things in gameplay too much. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of... It takes you a second to adjust to the lighting changing anyway, so you don't really notice unless you're looking for it. And here we have a classic macabre scene from Half-Life 2. I love seeing the way the light lights up the entire room, you know? It's not just the immediate area around where the light source is. Let's read the instructions, guys. Customer warning. Know the odor of LP gas. If you hear, see, or smell leaking LP gas, immediately get everyone away from the cylinder and call the fire department. Do not attempt repairs. Caution. Caution your LP gas supplier to be certain cylinder is purged of trapped air prior to first filling. Be certain not to overfill this. Okay, we're done with this. I cannot commit to that bit. I'm sorry. Ooh. The torso looks kind of freaky in RTX. Ooh, I love the lighting from the sparks too. Where'd that button go? So, like, I can understand most of Grigori's traps, but I never understood the flame chamber. What do you mean? Like, you don't understand why he would make the flame chamber? Because I think I understand. Boom Donuts says, question about Easy 2. Is there a specific reason as to why Judith doesn't have a voice actor and just uses reused lines? No. No, actually, I mean, I think when we were working on Easy 2, we definitely had a desire to, like, use original voice lines because we thought it gave, like, sort of authenticity to the way Half-Life 2 sounded. It's like we didn't want to replace the Citizen lines, we didn't want to replace the Combine lines. In hindsight, I view that as a mistake. I think we absolutely should have, ooh. Fast head crab looks nasty. We should have just gotten new actors for everything. Honestly. That would have been the better way to go. But hindsight is 2020, and I think I learned a lot over the process of making Easy 2. As for the flame chamber, I think that this is sort of a ritual thing. I think that in the mod Raising the Bar Salvation, I love Raising the Bar Salvation. That's like one of my favorite mods now, I think. But in that mod, you play as Father Grigori, and they showed how he had this plan to burn down Ravenholm, and he set up these ceremonial pyres where he would burn certain zombies of people that he knew in life that were like his deacons. And those pyres were supposed to symbolize him, like, purging Ravenholm, or I guess setting free the souls of the people who were trapped in Ravenholm. So, anyways, that's a mod, but in the original Half-Life 2, I think that's what this is basically supposed to be. It's like he was sort of using the fire to liberate the souls of the headcrab zombies. It's really dark. It's actually a pretty gross scene, but I think that's the idea, that there was like sort of a ceremonial purpose, because this doesn't serve any practical purpose. Like, why would you trap a zombie in here? You could just, like, set a trap like this. That makes a lot more sense logically. Why would you need to trap them in a little cage like this? I think it was probably for some sort of a ceremonial rather than practical reason, but I'm not sure. How did he even get a zombie in there? Maybe he built it around the zombie. It could be, because it could be that the zombie was already sleeping here and he just kind of, like, put the fence up. I think more likely he probably lured the zombie in. Maybe he had, like, something in there that would lure the zombie, like a piece of meat or something. This is just going to get more and more macabre the more we think about it. But, it's pretty gruesome. Yeah, I think he lured the zombie in somehow and then locked the cage shut. Um, what else was I gonna say? Sorry, I had another thought and then I forgot what it was. Boom Donut says, I don't mind the reused citizen lines. Those are really flexible. It's when you have to get to a character who doesn't have any much voice lines when things get iffy. Yeah, I agree. And I think that was where we kind of made a mistake. Like, applying that same reasoning to Judith doesn't work because she has so few dialogue lines. You can't really reuse her lines. And we tried to, and it was a mistake. We should have just recast her. That's just my opinion, though. Having, you know, going through the whole process of working on it. I don't think we were wrong for the motivations we had at the time. It's just easy for me after the fact to say, I think it would be better if we had a voice actor. Look at the detail on this generator prop. Like the materials, the weathering. It looks so good. I kind of agree with the Judith lines being awkward. Also, kind of paints her as a bit weirdly slow. Yeah, I agree. It doesn't give her the agency that she deserves as a character. And that's not what we intended at all. But we just wanted to sort of work with the material that we already had, like the voice lines, because we thought that made her sound more authentically like her. You need to remind her to open the door. Oh, I don't know. I think of that as more of just a pace setting thing. I don't know. Let me check if... I think I need to take a little ad break. But I will be right back in a moment. I heard the same what from Judith 2 times in a row. Yeah, we had very few lines to work with. I'm going to AFK for a little bit and run an ad, and I will be right back. You're right back. I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, it looks like the stream might have stopped while I was away. I've been having issues with Restream not always broadcasting, so if the stream did stop, I apologize. Hopefully that didn't cause any inconvenience. I also noticed some chat messages while I was gone. Boom Donuts said, hoping someone does decide to do their own voice acting for Judith and post it to the Easy 2 workshop. I totally agree. I think that'd be really cool. I think that's a great idea for a workshop add-on, to be honest. And also says my headcanon for the flame chamber Grigori has is that it's one of his experiment rooms, like in Return to Ravenholm, which was a canceled game. I think that actually makes a lot of sense. That makes just as much sense as the explanation that I gave, actually. Because I do sort of... Like, even though that game was canceled, so it's not part of the canon, if you will, part of the main storyline, I still kind of think of the ideas from that game as being... You know, they influence the way I think about Grigori as a character. I kind of want to just play the video game at this point, but I'm so tempted to just continue playing with settings. I think that's the part of the reason why I wouldn't recommend the RTX version for a first-time player. I don't think it's really intended for a first-time player, but it's like, I don't know. I just keep wanting to change settings. Ow, okay. It's bad. Hello, Project 454-6B. Sorry, long name. Welcome. We're playing Half-Life 2 RTX, the demo. And we're seeing how RTX runs on a 3090 and what kinds of settings look the best. I'm noticing some frame drops here. RTX or no RTX, Half-Life 2 physics will never stop being satisfying. We've still got a long ways to go in this demo because I keep getting distracted by the new graphics. I'm also tempted to play with some of the lighting settings. Like I've seen people basically turn on a day mode. Ever change. Yeah, exactly. For being what it is, the fire effects don't look bad. They just look like noticeably pixelated compared with everything else. So, what would you guys like to see on stream? I've been trying to plan more streams in the future. I've taken a little break, right? Half-Life 2 RTX was an easy thing to pick because there's been such a buzz about it and because I was really excited to check it out. But, oh, not these things. They're just so much worse with the new assets. I've sort of become desensitized to the poison head crabs in the normal game. Why does the fire remind me of the V-Fire add-on from Gmod? Yeah, it does kind of look like that. I think it reminds me of the older style of fire effects from like when Half-Life 2 was first released. Oh, they've added these little blue glowing elements to the health kits. I wonder... Yeah, it's crazy how everything casts light in Half-Life 2 RTX. Makes it easier to find health pickups, too. Ow. I definitely heard another poison head crab. think that was just a rat sound in the sound effect, or the soundscape, actually. They individually modeled all of the handles on these drawers. That's crazy. In the original, that's just a texture. Oh, I did hear. I knew it. Poison head crabs were designed to trigger arachnophobia. Okay. Come back here. My eyes still widen when I hear a poison head crab screech. What really freaked me out was the poison head crabs in Half-Life Alyx. You know, seeing them in VR for the first time. And they did such a good job with, like, the dark area where you need to use your flashlight. It's a lot like this, actually. Now, I love, like, lights that are cast through open doorways like this. Hi, Blix. The crazy thing about RTX is being able to block this doorway and block the light. Because normally with, you know, baked lighting in a game, that light is going to be there no matter what you put in the doorway, but real-time lighting, I've got just the tiniest sliver of light coming through. Who is that, Blix? Because I remember you telling me about that, but I can't remember who it is you're talking about. The flickering light here looks a little weird in RTX. Because it doesn't turn all the way off, it just turns like partially off. I think that has to do with the settings, like how quickly the light propagates. That numbers guy. You know, it's so funny that you say that because I cannot remember his numbers for the life of me. Like if you typed out his username, I would recognize it, of course, but what are the numbers? The numbers, what do they mean? Would you be open to playing other games on this channel? I know this is mainly a Half-Life focused channel, but it would be cool to see some other games. I'm open to it. I think the actual reason why I don't play any other games is because I don't know what I can add. You know, if I was playing a popular game, like what... If I stream a game that's really popular right now, what am I adding that hasn't already been said or shown, you know? Oh no, not a bot. I'll get that in a second. Like, I want my streams to highlight something or showcase something or comment on something that's pertinent. And I know that I can comment on Half-Life 2 mods because I'm really familiar with Half-Life 2 modding. But if I was to play, I don't know, what's popular right now, Repo or something like that, I wouldn't know what I could do to make it different from other channels playing Repo.
Make free use of my traps, but take care not to fall in them yourself. Behind you! In Ravenholm, you do well to be vigilant.
I could tell that time that he didn't actually shoot the head crab. I see a lot of people complaining about Grigori's model. Personally, I think it looks great. I think there was always going to be a disconnect trying to remodel his head for RTX with the new materials and with the physically based rendering, with the subsurface scattering and all that. I think it's a pretty faithful recreation. He does look different, but I think it's okay. I did notice some more of that DLSS artifacting, I think it is, when I zoomed in on him. Like, you could see that things looked a little bit like grainy, like noisy around where he was. Hello, the killer from YouTube. Sometimes Half-Life 2 RTX looks impressive, and other times it looks pretty awful. I don't know. Like, I kind of blame my settings. From what I've seen from other people's videos, frame generation is really important. So the performance is a lot better on the 50 series cards. I've got a 3090. And I've been tweaking my settings. I'm still not convinced that I'm playing with the optimal settings right now, and that's been this like sort of ever-present distraction that I have, is that I want to open the settings menu and mess with things until it looks better. But we did change it around a lot, and I think most of these settings were pretty set on. The head crab didn't even get to jump at Gordon; it just slid off. Yeah, exactly. It's not. He didn't actually shoot the head crab; they like faked it. Imagine if he shot you after you turned around. Well, there's the scene in the next map where he almost shoots us, right? Oh, okay. Almost fell. This is a good opportunity to show the new lighting. Oh, never mind. Opportunity wasted. This kind of makes me wonder if Valve was making a new game in Source 2, if they would add path tracing as an option. Is that something that's on Valve's radar, or are they just not interested in path tracing? I don't know. Food for thought. I think that I don't know. Like I don't see it being on their roadmap, but I never know what Valve is thinking, to be honest. They're so unpredictable. I can kind of tell when I look at this wall that this is originally a flat texture, and then they added the displacement mapping to it. I don't think Valve will use ray tracing, at least for now. Yeah, because I think I don't know if I should speculate on where I think Valve is going, but based on what I've seen, I think they're going more for moving away from Windows and gaming in different formats. You know, the Steam Deck was their last big product, and I think they're going to do things more like the Steam Deck, where they want gaming at lower resolutions, but like at you know, from your couch or from your handheld while you're traveling, while you're in a hotel, while you're by the side of the road. You know, it's that sort of thing. They want to try expanding gaming, expanding into new markets. I think they would see ray tracing as like too expensive in terms of performance costs and stuff like that. I think they're going more for trying to be more like Nintendo almost. And with VR, I think that fits, with it being like a new input mechanism, and I think they're going to try more things like that. That's just my... I don't know. That's probably a cold take. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Me personally, I just really enjoy watching people play games I enjoy as well. If we were to play something like Cult of the Lamb, or I missed the other game, or the Arkham games. I don't know, because I just feel like I wouldn't have anything interesting to say about those games. I think Cult of the Lamb is a great game. I haven't played it, but I watched my friend play it on stream, and I really enjoyed that. I also will say that Cult of the Lamb is a great game for Twitch streams. The Twitch integration in Cult of the Lamb is amazing. It like adds, because it adds to the gameplay. It changes the way that the game works, because your followers in the game become your Twitch chatters. But I don't think I have the right personality, if I'm being honest, to pull that off. I feel like you need to be like, I don't know, you need to have a lot of charisma to make that enjoyable. I just want to use the physics trap. It's too satisfying. There's this thought that I've had when looking at Half-Life 2 RTX, that because of what Half-Life 2 RTX is, because it's like a low detail game, it's an early 2000s game with remade assets that bring it up to the fidelity of a 2025 game. It has this very clean visual style. Like, you can always look at any... Oh, I'm standing right underneath the trap. That feels dangerous. You can always look at any scene in Half-Life 2 RTX and feel like you can visually tell what's going on, like the shape of the space and where you need to go, where the threats are, what the puzzle is. And I feel like in a lot of modern games, that's sort of lost because when they have this level of detail, the whole level just becomes visual noise. Hello, welcome. Thanks for following. Yeah, thanks for following on Twitch. Good to see you from YouTube. What was I saying? A lot of modern games, and I'm thinking like, I know this isn't like super recent, but I'm thinking like Resident Evil 8. I love that game, don't get me wrong, it's a great game. But in a scene in Resident Evil 8, there's so much going on visually that a lot of times it's hard for me to tell like where I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to look at or what the important elements are. But because this is a remaster of a really old game, there isn't so much clutter. Even though it's high detail, it's like very clean visually. And I love that. I want to see more modern games that look just like this. Like, honest. Even though this is, the shadow seems weird to me. I guess it's because of where the light source is. Even though this is a remaster of an older game, like, I think it's got a great aesthetic to it that would suit a newer game really well.
I am Father Grigori. You have already met my congregation.
The fire looks like Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, we were talking about the fire earlier. Now, this is one scene where I feel like Half-Life 2 RTX suffers a lot compared with Half-Life 2, because there's this volumetric in front of this spotlight here, and the volumetric totally obscures Father Grigori, who's talking. I should be focused on him because he's talking. It's supposed to be, you know, a scene with him, but all I can see is just kind of the fog in front of me. And also, I'm still having an issue where when I look through the fog, models behind it kind of shimmer. I don't know what that is or if there's a setting that I can use to fix that. But yeah, that looks pretty bad, if I'm being honest. Some of that is just my settings. I think that's the first fast head crab, if I'm not mistaken. Forgot that that's the first time you fight one. This scene looks a lot brighter than I remember.
Ah, it is you, brother. I apologize. But no harm done. My bullets are the least of your concerns. May the snare which they do not know come to them, and may the net which they have hidden for me catch them in my place.
So, I have a few thoughts on this scene. It feels a little uncanny. I think the new model, they did a good job with his facial features, but his eyes don't look natural. Like, it seems like he's not looking around with his eyes. Like they're only looking straight ahead. That makes him look kind of fake. Also, when I'm not zoomed in, I feel like there's a depth of field effect that makes him kind of blurry. But I don't know if that's actually a depth of field or if it's just because I'm playing at a lower resolution that he looks kind of blurry.
And from this dead, cry out for the light.
I always thought he walked away after that scene. You're right, Blix. Doesn't he? Doesn't he walk away? He's just kind of standing there. Menacingly. Oh, he's gonna help. That's kind of cool. If he had walked away, that would help with the uncanny factor, because I wouldn't have noticed. I didn't know there was a zombie right there. brick. Let's see, what else can I use as a weapon? I've seen it pointed out before, but the paint can effects don't work on the zombies in RTX. I don't know why that is. It's not a huge loss, but it is one thing that I noticed, because I always liked using the paint cans on the zombies before. He waits till you jump down to walk away. Oh, is that true? Wait, let me test that out. Let's test out that theory. Looks like he's still there. Yeah, it seems like maybe his scripting is broken, or maybe they changed it. But I don't think that's something that they would have changed. Maybe there's something that can interrupt his scripting. It's really awkward that he's just sitting there. Yeah, I agree. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the citizen models. Yeah, it'll be cool to see more dialogue scenes. Like, what do the characters look like in Half-Life 2 RTX? We might get to see a little bit of Alex in the Nova Prospect section. He's admiring the new graphics. Me too. Yeah, is it just me, or are his eyes not moving like they should? I think they did a pretty good job with his face. There's just something slightly uncanny about the new graphics. He's not blinking. Yeah, you're right. Oh no, not the blinking bug again. It's the Source 2013 update blinking bug all over again. Didn't even know this was back here. There's probably so many places in Half-Life 2 that I just haven't even checked. For as much time as I've spent, like, thinking about Half-Life and modding Half-Life and playing Half-Life games, like, I don't actually replay games that often. Like, I don't think I've even gotten all of the achievements. These are dirty Half-Life fan confessions, but yeah, I don't think I've 100%ed it. Yeah, you forgot about the blinking bug because it's been, like, fixed for so long. Is it still broken in stock Source 2013 SP? Because you fixed it in map base, right? That's what I'm thinking of?
Although they call me crazy, I think,
Oh.
for thou art my helper, my strength, and
I don't remember that scene. Yeah, you fixed it in map base, and Valve fixed it in Half-Life 2. Which update was that? That was before the anniversary. I think that was the gamepad UI update. I don't feel like Okay, I'm really bad at navigation, so I feel like I don't look at the spaces enough, you know, to get like a bird's eye view of the layout. Like, there's this sort of factory here, and this tower you can see earlier, as well as these two smokestacks. So that's kind of the visual reference, the landmark in this part of Ravenholm. I remember the update being around 2020 or 2021. Yeah, that makes sense. The amount of detail that, like, there's shadows within the skull on this model is crazy. It's kind of eerie. Self-shadowing is another thing that makes the RTX graphics stand out. Like, things like the lights that were shining on the individual bolts, there were shadows on the propeller prop that I noticed when it was spinning. Sometimes if I squint my eyes, I can't even tell that I'm playing RTX, which I guess speaks to how faithful it is, but like, yeah, it's definitely Half-Life 2. These zombies look so disgusting. Ugh. Actually, the fast zombie model reminds me a little bit of the ghouls from Fallout. Boom Donut says, I like to think the room with the zombies on the tables is also one of Grigori's experiment rooms. I think he might be onto something. You know, maybe the experimentation from Return to Ravenholm was actually kind of part of the storyline all along. It's not, like, explicit, but it's kind of there in the background. Another thing that I think about with Half-Life 2 RTX is, as a source engine modder, you know, I don't anticipate that I'm going to be using RTX Remix anytime soon, but playing this gives me ideas for ways that I want to use lighting, even if I don't have RTX. Like, you know, rooms like this where you have props casting really sharp shadows on the walls, you can do that without RTX. It's not the same as having RTX, right? But, like, you can use shadow, like a shadow controller in Source 1 to change the direction of shadows. Or, you know, things like having certain elements cast light. You can do that with projected textures. So I kind of wonder if Half-Life 2 RTX is going to inspire modders to do things outside of RTX in the same way that Half-Life Alyx inspired a lot of gameplay ideas outside of VR. Even though Alyx was designed for VR, you know, people played it and got inspired, and, you know, I think a lot of mods were influenced by Half-Life Alyx. Not easy too, though. We had most of the levels done before Alyx came out. What was I gonna do? Oh, I was gonna try to block this light, see how it affects the room. I don't think I can stack high enough to block that light. You stick a saw blade in the wall? Oh, that was a really good idea. Yeah, it didn't block the light, though. I guess I need a different angle. I'm tempted to no-clip just to... I want to see if I can block that light. I feel like I'm spending too much time just fiddling with the... Oh, level transition. With the lighting. But that is kind of the point of RTX. So I should have expected that to be most of what the stream is, rather than normal gameplay. I like what they did with the MP7 model. Looks very sleek. I noticed in that scene when I was shooting at this fast zombie here, there was that sort of high contrast, like, highlight around it. It didn't look good. I wonder what setting that's related to. Also similar to... Oop. That doesn't sound good. Are there any unfinished mods that you've played and wish were completed? Yes, there definitely are. I'm having trouble coming up with one off the top of my head. What's a good example? The problem is, there's not that many that I've played that weren't completed, because I think once mods get to the point of having a demo, they usually end up being released. Not always. Interested to see the poison zombie. Yeah, it's really creepy looking. The head crabs remind me a lot of Half-Life Alyx, and it's really just because of the new materials. I don't know if Half-Life Alyx has subsurface scattering, but they definitely gave the head crabs more of an organic look. I saw some people complaining that Half-Life 2 RTX didn't like it ruined the atmosphere, the ambience of Ravenholm. Kind of took away the creepiness. And I'm looking at the scene and no. Like this is kind of giving me the heebie-jeebies, and I've kind of become desensitized to this game. Like Ravenholm hasn't seemed creepy to me at all for years just because I've played through it so many times. So I don't think that they made it too bright at all. Not even a little bit. Underhell author did an anniversary stream and I'm still angry I both missed it and there's no VOD saved. Oh. Bell! Welcome, Bell. Thanks for joining. You finished stream first. I was gonna raid you. So hi Penguin, welcome. So Raiders, I'm playing Half-Life 2 RTX. This stream has been mostly a tweaking with settings and looking at shadows stream. So hopefully you enjoy that. But mostly we're just looking at Half-Life 2 RTX and seeing how they changed the assets, how they used new lighting and some of the settings. How was stream? Did stream go good? I saw that you were playing game about digging a hole earlier. Beat you to it. Yeah. Man, I thought I was going to finish the stream early, but like we've been streaming for an hour and a half and I'm still barely through Ravenholm. Bell playing RTX Minecraft. Wait, were you really? Comfy stream. That sounds good. I'm kind of sad that I missed it, to be honest. It seems like it would have been a nice stream. Basically? Wait, was it actually RTX Minecraft? Because I know you've got the new graphics card. Yeah. Sometimes it seems like the gravity gun casts light, and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why that is. Like here, it's not casting any light, but if I... like... sometimes it will. Oh yeah, feel free to head out. You know, I'm sure you are tired after stream and stuff. Hope you have a good rest of your night, and thanks again for the raid. Appreciate it. Boom Donuts says, I'd give anything for at least a Steam release of Underhell. That would be great. Actually, Blix mentioned Underhell earlier, and that's the answer to the question, are there any mods that you played that never released, that you wished came out? Underhell, 100%. I can't think of any better examples than Underhell. Because it was so promising, and it never got past the second chapter or first chapter. Can't remember if the first chapter is considered a prologue. So that would have been a good one. It seems incredibly unlikely, but it would be fittingly ironic if We Create Stuff bought the rights to finish Underhell. Would they need to buy the rights? I mean, didn't they already make Underhell? Maybe I'm missing something. Because they did make the Nightmare House remake recently, which... oh my goodness, I never actually streamed that. New stream idea, guys. We Create Stuff only shared some of the Nightmare House 2 assets. Oh. What do you mean that they only shared some of the assets? Like, shared with who? How am I lost? I've played this like 100 times. That's silly. Okay, here we go. The fact that I was even momentarily confused about where to go.
Here, brother.
With the shotgun.
Come closer.
I'm gonna pause for a second. Captain Haxray says I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure their entire involvement in Underhell was some of the assets being shared with MX. How do you pronounce that? Actually, I'm sorry, never said it out loud. MXTHE. I didn't know that. I thought that Recreate Stuff was responsible for Underhell, but I might be ignorant there.
You've stirred up hell. A man after my own heart. Here, I have a more suitable gun for you. You'll need it. Catch. Good. Now, keep it close.
Nitpicking this scene, it looks like almost a little bit too high contrast.
Hush. They come. There is no rest in Ravenholm. Move on and I will meet you at the church.
The new shotgun model looks so, like, I don't know, high definition. Yeah, for some reason I thought Underhell was entirely by We Create Stuff. So maybe I misunderstood that, actually. And I should know better because Trivy was one of the voice actors in Underhell. And I know that guy. I should have asked him more questions about Underhell, to be honest. That's nasty. Half-Life 2 RTX is really putting the fear of Ravenholm back into me. I remember Ravenholm seemed so creepy when I was a kid playing it the first time, and over the years, like, I don't know, the fear has sort of dulled. It doesn't seem that scary anymore just because it's so familiar, but seeing all the assets remade like this kind of puts it into a new perspective. The script for the Chapter 2 of Underhell was completed. I didn't know that. I thought it was, like, I don't know. I thought it was completely abandoned years ago. Like, I didn't ever expect to hear anything from Underhell ever again.
Ammunition depleted.
XTHA claimed that he had finished the whole script for the game. Really? I mean, I guess that makes sense when he was working on it, that he might have, you know, come up with the entire story while working on the first 2 episodes. Yeah, the story and not the moment-to-moment gameplay. That makes sense. I mean, it's hard not to have ideas about, like... He has to know, like, on some level, like, where is the story going, if it's going to be one complete story, right? Let's look at all the details. And I just noticed, are these 2 smokestacks the same as before? Like, the kind of landmark? It could be that we sort of, like... I think we went in a little bit of, like, a semicircle to get here. Makes sense. Oh, this part. No zombies getting in that way. We're talking when Chapter 1 released. Oh, I see. Uh-oh. I feel like there was more to that fight than that. The ModDB page says that Underhell was made in collaboration with Recreate Stuff. Yeah, I would like to look more into this. Underhell is something that I haven't really talked about or thought about in so many years. That would be good for a stream to go back to an old mod. I would also like to play the Nightmare House 2 re-release and the Nightmare House remake. Coded says, do a flip. I don't think I can do a flip in this game, Coded. I'm sorry. That looked interesting. The first comment I saw on ModDB page for Underhell is that it crashes on launch. That's not good. Did they ever remake it with the Source SDK 2013, or is it still on like an old version of the SDK? Oh, that's nasty. How did that tank a revolver shot? Okay. Ow.
Blood toxin level detected. Automatic systems engaged.
Ow.
Ammunition depleted.
How am I playing this badly?
Lacerations detected. Emergency. User dead.
Ow.
Vital signs are dropping.
This looks pretty good for a PS2 game. You're right, Coded. It does. One thing I've seen people point out is how disgusting the poison zombie model looks in Half-Life 2 RTX. Like, in a good way. I mean, it's supposed to be disgusting. But the exposed spine is just like, ugh, that's especially gruesome. Most recent comment also included a fix that solves the crashes, so it seems to be related to the anniversary update. I don't think so, because Underhell would have been based on the Source SDK, which is standalone from... it depends on which version it was made with and stuff like that, but I think it should be standalone from Half-Life 2, so the anniversary update shouldn't affect it. But I could be wrong. I haven't installed it in a long time. These cars remind me of the cars in Half-Life Alyx, which, you know, as they should, because it's just a higher resolution, you know, higher poly count version of a Half-Life 2 car. Rule of thumb when it, for mods when it comes to me, if it has a good menu theme, I'm likely going to enjoy it. Yeah. I'm glad you think that about Entropy Zero. I don't remember the menu theme for Underhell. I really do need to play it again. We're almost at the end of Ravenholm, and then we'll get to start with Nova Prospect. I genuinely used to believe that the poison zombies wore purple shirts for some reason. That's funny, because now that you say that, you're like, I did too, and I never questioned it. Do they not just wear purple shirts? How come this door makes a sound? Usually, like, inaccessible doors like this, you just can't interact with them. I don't know. The main stuff that stuck with me from Underhell was the cliffhanger, how fun it was to shoot zombies, and the goofy cutscene. Okay, I think I have a confession to make about Underhell. I don't think I ever actually finished it. Because I remember playing the first episode or the first chapter, and then playing the part of the house, but I don't think I played the part in the prison. I've seen videos about it. But yeah, I suppose that means that I'm overdue for streaming that mod. What are some other games that you guys would like to see me stream? I know you finished the prologue, not chapter 1. Yeah, I don't remember. Is the prison chapter 1? They really went all out with the plants in Half-Life 2 RTX. Like you didn't need to go this hard. That was like a texture in the original. The prologue is the SWAT segment. Yeah, I think that's what I played. The prologue and the house, but I didn't finish it all the way. I don't know why I didn't. Sometimes with old games like that, it's like I know that I didn't finish the whole game, and I cannot remember why I stopped playing. Life just happens, I guess. You get distracted by different things going on, and you never get back to it. Okay, one thing that's interesting is this bar, this sort of cross guard on the, okay, I have to deal with these zombies before I talk about mods. Okay. This was just a simple brush. It's just basically a rectangle. And so when they updated the graphics, this still looks kind of old because even though the texture is updated, it's still just a rectangle. And I think that's kind of funny. The only games I'd like to see you play is Underhell and maybe Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb, I really can't see myself streaming it because I don't know. Like, I watched Belen Guitar, who rated earlier, play it, and her streams of that game were great because she had her cult set up so that the viewers were the individual like cult members, and there was Twitch interaction and everything. I don't see myself being able to manage that. It's not the kind of game that I usually play, but maybe I would consider it. Oh, here's the really nasty zombie model. Yikes. It does look way more gruesome in this version compared with the original. It reminds me of Black Mesa's headcrab zombies in a good way. Yeah, I can totally see that. Black Mesa kind of did the same thing where they added a lot more detail, but they also kind of upped the horror factor, made them a little bit more gruesome, more skeleton-like. Captain Haxray says the security guard zombies in Black Mesa's unhinged jaw is horrific, and I love it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's where they look a little bit more like skeletons. I noticed that the sound effects are updated on the shotgun. When you put in new shells, that's a new sound. I'm not sure why, because it seems like most of the sounds aren't updated for Half-Life 2 RTX. But that one definitely is. Gonna open this. Oh, I think they made a whole new model for this thing. I wouldn't have expected that. Can RTX replace sounds, or is that the mod part? That's a really good question. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that it's the mod part. They probably replaced the actual... Well, that's a good question. Did they replace the model for the shotgun underneath RTX, like in the source engine part of the mod? I don't think so, because it looks like an RTX model. So they must have just updated the sounds in the mod. I am curious how much of Half-Life 2 RTX is just Half-Life 2 underneath the RTX part. Underneath the RTX remix, that is. And how much is actually like changed to support the RTX version. Ooh, I'm really low on ammo. That's not good. Okay. This is bad. I need some explosives.
Warning, blood toxin level detected.
There we go. I wonder what other old games would benefit from an RTX remix like this. I mean, a full-on Half-Life 2 RTX treatment, not just using RTX Remix. Because I'm sure a lot of games, you know, people are going to use RTX Remix to update them, make the visuals look a little bit more modern. But this level of fidelity, I don't know, because I think like what are some really old games that haven't aged very well? I think of like Deus Ex, but Deus Ex wouldn't look good with this at all. It's more of a stylized kind of game. So games from that era, like Half-Life 1, probably wouldn't look as good. But something like Halo would look really good actually, or like early 2000s games. I bet Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim would look great with an RTX remake. Max Payne? Yeah, I bet you're right. I haven't actually played Max Payne, but I can picture what you're talking about. I think Half-Life 2's blocky nature due to source hinder RTX. I don't entirely agree. Like, I found one example so far where I was like, oh, this... There was like a little tiny model here that looked out of place because it was just a rectangle. But for most of the level, like, they replaced all of the brushwork with higher detailed models. Like this thing, that was just a brush in the original level, but they added in this prop. And because Half-Life 2 RTX, because RTX Remix lets you replace models in Remix, you know, like you can always add more detail to things that already exist in the level. Counterpoint would be like these sort of metal blocks. Those look a little bit blocky still. But I overall think the aesthetic of Half-Life 2 RTX looks great. And like I said earlier, I'd like to see like new modern games that look like this. I have this kind of style of like clean shapes, but very detailed textures and props. F-Craft. I keep getting disappointed because I want to set things on fire to see how the light affects it. And then, they don't actually get set on fire. Right there. Oh, I fell. It would be interesting to see if they do a Half-Life 2 RTX for Half-Life 2 Episode 2. Or, you know, and Episode 1. But Episode 2 especially, I think, would be interesting to see in this style. Because it already has a lot of plants. Like, they're going to have a lot of work to do to bring it up to this level of quality. Doom 3 might look good with RTX. Yeah, I totally agree. It'd be interesting because of, like you said, like it was designed around stencil shadows. So having a different kind of lighting system would be tricky. But I think it could look really good because it was designed for scenes with a lot of shadows.
Did I not tell you to seek the church? Mend your ways before it is too late.
Oh, this room looks great. Yeah, I want to see Doom 3 with RTX Remix. You've convinced me. I like Doom 3 a lot, but I always felt a little bit let down by the story. Like, I just feel like the plot doesn't really go anywhere in Doom 3. Am I alone in that? And people are going to say, oh, it's an action game. It doesn't, you know, the plot isn't important. But I think that's why I like Half-Life 2 better. You know, it's like Half-Life 2 had great characters, a good story. amazing world building. I just didn't really get that from Doom 3. It has a good vibe, but the characters aren't as memorable. Captain Haxray says Doom 3 has the problem where it acts like it wants the plot to matter, but then it's too afraid to actually put a plot that isn't just the Doom 1 plot. Yeah. I also feel like Doom 3 riffed on Half-Life 1 quite a bit. Maybe that's just me. But it sort of feels like it's trying to be Half-Life more than it's trying to be Doom. Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, I like Half-Life.
Minor lacerations detected.
I really like the non-linearity in Ravenholm. Like, you loop through the same areas multiple times and open up alternate routes and stuff. It's something that's kind of overlooked because Half-Life is thought of as being a very linear series. I'm just running right past all those zombies. I don't have time to deal with them. I think you'd probably like Quake 4. Oh, I love Quake 4. Yeah, I think I like Quake 4 even more than I like Doom 3, to be honest. It also doesn't have like, the story I feel like is pretty cliche, but I enjoyed it for what it is. I would have liked to have seen more games in the Quake 4/Quake 2 universe. I never even finished Quake 2, now that you mention it.
There you are. At last. I will send the cart for you, brother. It will be but a moment. Patience, brother.
Is he okay? His eyes look
Guard yourself well.
wrong. Question on Easy 2. Dumb question, but are those two guys wearing Arbite uniforms at the storage closet found in the area where you encounter zombie guns allied with the rebels or not? They're from Arbite, so they actually don't know who the rebels are. Gory hasn't blinked. Of course his eyes look wrong. Poor guy. You're so right. Staring contest with Gordon. He started taking the headcrab juice early. Yeah, that's the headcanon. You're right. He's doing the experiments with the head crabs. Okay, let's get out of here. Oh, okay, it's not ready yet. I thought I was closer. I always wondered if the head crabless zombies in episode 4 were just placeholder or meant to be literal. I used to think they were a placeholder, but the Return to Ravenholm documentary showed otherwise. That was what they were intended to be.
The handbrake, brother. Release it and come down.
Now we get to go see Grigori. No, we don't. We're loading over Prospect. That was a little bit abrupt. I wish we could have talked to Grigori a little bit before the level transition. But yeah, because this is the demo of Half-Life 2 RTX, and it's not the full story, we're now skipping ahead from Ravenholm to about the 2/3 mark, closer to 3/4 mark of the game in Nova Prospect. I think this is the beginning of Nova Prospect. What happens if I go... Okay, so there's no backtracking. This area looks crazy. I think this is right about where I stopped playing Half-Life 2 VR. I never actually finished Half-Life 2 VR. I know, I'm a fake fan. I really have to play through the whole Half-Life 2 VR series. Captain Haxray says, good job, Grigori. You cured the parasite zombies by making Romero zombies. That was the whole idea in Return to Ravenholm, right? Basically that Grigori found a way to cure people of head crabs, like to make them immune, but in the process turn them into like Left 4 Dead style zombies, which I think is a fun twist, and I think it was going to be an interesting evolution of his character. Boom Donuts says, that's what I assumed, considering how they're like, the hell is that when 3650 enters the closet? Assume they don't even know what the Combine is. Yeah, exactly. You picked that up correctly. Ooh. It's always interesting to see what modders do with the AR-2 because it's such a weird gun. The way it's modeled here reminds me a lot of Half-Life Alyx and the pulse weapons. Something about the way the parts are like molded looks very Half-Life Alyx to me. Yeah, I think for these like remastered assets, bringing them into line with Half-Life Alyx feels right somehow, you know? Like Half-Life Alyx already feels like what the Half-Life 2 universe would look like with more modern graphics, so kind of leaning on that for inspiration I think makes perfect sense for Orbifold. Do you think Half-Life 3 will use Epistle 3 as a story guide? Yeah, Captain Haxray beat me to it. Certainly not. What part of the OST is this? I don't remember what this track is called. I just think of it as being Nova Prospect, to be honest. I don't know if that's what it's called. Let's take a look at the Combine soldiers in Half-Life 2 RTX. There's so much detail that's added, it's kind of crazy. I do think they might have used the Half-Life Alyx soldiers as a base, which, if so, that's a good idea. Hi, Kenny Alexander. You said, does this have DLSS? Yes, I do have DLSS turned on. I'm running this on an RTX 3090, so my settings are kind of at a medium, and I'm running it at about 40 FPS. So for what it is being a demo of RTX, I'm pretty happy with this performance. It's not exactly like the highest frame rate. It's not, I'm not getting the full 144 frames. How much of Half-Life 2 is this demo? It's part of Ravenholm and part of Nova Prospect. I'm actually going to pull up the developer tools here so I can show my settings. So I have DLSS on with the Transformer reconstruction model. I'm going to be honest, I still don't know exactly what Transformer versus CNN means. A lot of these settings, I don't really know exactly what they do. We mostly have settings based on the medium preset. I turned off motion blur just for personal preference. One thing that I don't like about this is that the muzzle flashes from the Combine weapons show like it's like rave lighting. Like there's green, there's pink, there's yellow. It looks kind of weird. I think they should have gone with more of like an orangey or even like a bluish color. We'll see it more in the combat, I'm sure. I forgot that I have my bug bait, so the antlions obey my commands. These posters look... for a second I thought it was like hanging off of the wall. Is it? Because that's just a decal in the base game. Either way. Oh, G-Man spotted. It looks like the original G-Man model. I don't think they've made any changes to him yet. Every time I change the cameras, there's this weird sort of flashing effect. I think it's because it has to calculate the lighting for the scene on the other end of the camera. Oh, what? Did you guys see that? Is it just me, or did that look really weird? It was like the antlion guard disappeared for a second. The cameras in general look really, really strange. I think something to do with the way the lighting is calculated. Blurry antlion guard, yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's a huge problem, because it's supposed to be kind of like a holographic display anyways, but it looks really strange. Upscaling is not good on cameras, yeah. I can totally see that. I don't know how they would get around that. I noticed that the health charger has a lot more glowy bits. Kind of makes sense. Again, looking very Half-Life Alyx. Let's look at the nutritional facts on Dr. Breen's Private Reserve. Let's see. A hard time getting a good look at it. Okay. 170 calories in Dr. Breen's Private Reserve? Are you kidding me? What are the there's 40 grams of sugar in Dr. Breen's Private Reserve? This is the Half-Life lore that we actually needed. Like, what? Now there's vitamin C in it, 2% of your daily value. 45 milligrams of sodium? Why? What's in this? I'm the type of guy to do exactly what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, I would be remiss. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't read all the nutritional facts. Dr. Breen's Private Reserve. I wonder what that number means, the barcode, if that's an actual label. They're not putting amnesiacs to make you forget, it's just Coke. Yeah, that's the real plot twist here. I haven't really seen what grenades look like in the new lighting. Breen's Great Value soda. Yeah, it is like an energy drink. It's an energy drink that makes you forget. See, there's the green light. Why is it green? It looks really strange. I think I kind of understand that they're basing it on the average color of the muzzle flash, which probably is a little bit green, but it looks really... Those are the actual bullet holes. That's crazy. Looks like the bullet holes actually, like, project into the wall. NVIDIA. Blix says, the Combine makes sure people don't have an empty stomach. They make sure they have an empty mind instead. Yeah. I remember this part. So, nitpicking weird stuff again. I can see that sort of, like, high contrast edge around this pipe when it goes into the water. I don't know what causes that. It looks kind of weird, like, especially when you're not expecting it. And you... Like, this pipe has it, too. It's kind of distracting whenever I see those really high contrast edges. Troopy Zero Uprising is going to have to update their take-a-drink mechanic to add in a sugar overdose. Yeah. What if they add in Dr. Breen's Private Reserve Zero? Oh, and is it just me, or are the barnacles literally just the Half-Life Alyx barnacle? Maybe not. If they are, you know, no complaints here. It's a good model to... Oh my goodness. Okay. There we go. That looked kind of weird. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah, I wouldn't fault Orbifold Studios for using Half-Life Alyx assets directly. Because a lot of times in Half-Life Alyx, they did sort of just remake an asset that already existed in Half-Life 2. So, oh, this is where I was before, that's right. For those of you who have played the mod Prospect Zero, is this the same room where it starts? Is that just me? I don't think it uses geometry from Nova Prospect. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. A lot of Nova Prospect blends together. Yeah. And I guess that just means that he did a good job making it feel like it fits in the same environment.
Freeman reacquires Zone Nova Prospect. Ground units deprioritize exogen containment. Hold for override code.
Anyone else is stream freezing a little bit? That's not good. Hopefully not. My bitrate is looking a little bit low from Restream. I might need to look at, if I continue having issues with Restream, moving exclusively to Twitch instead of Twitch and YouTube. It's time to try out the grenades. Oh, I missed. Doesn't look like the grenades light up the environment very much. Yeah, I think it's because the explosion is only there for a moment. It doesn't really cast any light. I'm noticing some frame drops on my end. That scared me a little bit. Okay, it's time to read all of the posters, because now they're high enough resolution that we can actually read them. Okay, I can't read that. I don't know what I was expecting. We're in Bulgaria or an adjacent country. Rebel or die, I think it says, and then it's covered up with a Combine poster. I wonder what this headline is supposed to say. Max Martian says, you know, with ray tracing, has there been any game or engines that sort of combine that with some static or baked lighting? It'd be interesting how a mix could go. I think a lot of games that do use ray tracing have a hybrid system like that, because it's hard to do entirely path trace lighting. Like, I think that's how it works in Cyberpunk, but I could be wrong. Boom Donut says, off topic, but I think it's crazy how they made day and night cycles for the house sections of Underhell in the 2007 SDK. Is that true? If so, that's pretty cool. How does that work? Is that like the lighting changes? Oh, this is a room where I can actually cover up all the lights in the room. Perfect. This is an This is an RTX ready room. So we can see RTX technology. That's crazy. Like, this is something that I've just never seen in a video game before I had an RTX capable card. Like, you cover up a light and it actually makes the room dark. It's something you just take for granted in games. Let's let some light in. Yeah, that's so cool. I think it's time for a boss fight. The skybox would change along with the lighting and shaders. So cool. Oh, that light looks like it's already covered. Wait, let me save. Okay, I'm gonna waste an entire RPG rocket on this. Are you ready? Yeah. Let some light into the room. This thing looks so scary in RTX. Ow. We did it.
Attention Nova Prospect internal containment team. Deservice all.
The way the antlion guard looks up close also reminds me very much of the Half-Life Alyx antlions. Something about this sort of like almost looks almost like a painted or like a graphic novel kind of style to the antlions. I don't know how to describe it. The regular antlions are like that too. It looks like a practical effect creature. That's a great way to describe it. I was trying to find the right like term to use, but it does kind of look like it's almost like it's made out of like foam or rubber, but not in a bad way. It kind of reminds me of old movies. I never use mods that replace Half-Life 2 characters with their Half-Life Alyx equivalent. Yeah, it really depends, especially because those models were designed for the materials that are available in Source 2, so they don't always look good in the original Source engine. I remember this area from Entropy 02. Hi, Vua. Have fun with your bugs and goopy monsters. Thanks, Vua. Appreciate it. Hope you have a good rest of your night. Also, great job on the latest batch of bell drawings. I saw that. They look amazing. Yeah, the crossbow bolts look really cool. Oh. I'm scared. The muzzle flashes are the one thing I don't like so much in RTX. Oh, the lasers aren't working anymore in this scene. Okay. I wish they had the dynamic interactions between antlions and soldiers in this new Vort model. Yeah, this is our first time seeing a Vortigaunt in Half-Life 2 RTX. I believe this is the original model, though. It doesn't look like it's been updated. It's always such a sad scene, though. I remember this area from Entropy 02. Now, let's see. Did they add fluid simulation to the beer bottles in Half-Life 2 RTX? I think this one's supposed to be empty. They did add refraction. Knowles beer. I would definitely try that. I like the refraction on the glass. The lighting making it look like it's going from high to low texture quality. What do you mean? Do you mean like the Vortigaunt? Because it did look like it was kind of overexposed a little bit. Yeah. High to low texture quality. I know what you're talking about. Because I think this material doesn't have like the properties for the new lighting yet, so it's all like flat. Well, the fact that they didn't make a model yet. No, I don't mean that. I just mean the scene in general. Finding this Vortigaunt. I don't really mind that they didn't make a model yet. We don't really talk to any Vortigaunts in this version, in this snippet of the game. So I'm sure we'll get to see the new Vortigaunt model before, you know, when the full release comes out. Oh, I think I skipped a scene there. There we go. The monitors look so strange with RTX. Could you check the trip mines and see if they changed? Yeah, that's a really good point, because the trip mines in the original game had a really low polygon model. Quite interesting that you don't tend to do much with the Slam, but the Combine do. What do you mean exactly? Combine are just running in circles around this antlion guard. There we go. Does this fight just go on forever? Oh, it's cut out? You mean because there's still trip mines, but you don't get to place any? Oh, more crossbow ammo. Are those new voice lines for the Combine? No, those were in the original Half-Life 2. I was just sort of thinking about that because, I think in Easy 2, Breadman actually put an Easter egg in either this room or maybe this room. But, what was I gonna say? The voice lines for the Combine, I remember those really well because you can hear the Combine soldier sort of like stammer a little bit or like trip over his words when he's trying to describe Gordon Freeman controlling antlions. He says like, tactical CNC of biotics? And it always makes me laugh. Now that I've heard that, like the first time I played the game, I didn't pick up on that, but every time I hear that, it makes me chuckle a little bit. Because the whole situation of Gordon Freeman controlling an army of bugs is just so silly. The Combine soldier lines sound lower pitched. Yeah, the Nova Prospect Commander sounds like lower pitched compared with the rest of the Combine. But that is an original line from the game. Ooh. Where's the vent entrance? Here it is. We're a human side of the Combine, exactly. Got a shovel in. I think Half-Life 2 is a great game for this RTX demonstration because Half-Life 2 was always kind of about like pushing the boundaries of game storytelling with new technology, you know? The original Half-Life 2 was all about physics interactions, like this one. And in RTX, it's also about light. Let me just... How come this isn't working? There we go. Oh. Didn't quite make it. Why is this not working for me? I've played this level so many times already. What purpose does this giant fan have? I think it's to circulate air. I know there's like 2 vents connected to it, but I don't know. Suspend your disbelief a little bit. What's wrong with me? Why is this not working? Am I losing it? There we go. Okay. Now, is there glass up here? Yeah, there is. Okay. Even this fan has a new model with Half-Life 2 RTX. That's crazy. The amount of detail that Orbifold put into this mod is just unbelievable. Oh. They beat me to it. Ventilation. Yeah, you're right. The fan refused. Yeah, you're right. Look, they actually used slams. Oh, ow. Why would you do that? My antlions betrayed me. This scene almost looks too dark. I saw so many complaints about, oh, Half-Life 2 RTX is too bright. Like, this isn't too bright. What are you... Oh, wait. I gotta try something, guys. Oh, that looked kind of weird, actually. That didn't really light up the environment as much as I hoped it would. Ow. I thought I could get out of the way in time that time. I think the antlions keep getting in the way of my shots with the crossbow. Default settings wise too bright. The only setting I changed that makes it darker is decreasing the brightness setting. Oh man. There's not enough cover here. Why am I saying that like this isn't the original Half-Life 2? Level designer, please fix. Somewhere deep in Valve headquarters, a random level designer awakes screaming from a slumber. Yeah. I wonder who worked on this map, actually. I mean, you gotta remember, this was developed from, like... 'cause I think this would be one of the earlier levels that, like, got worked on over time. So this would be, like, 2001 or 2002 that they're working on this. 2003. The game came out in 2004. Frantic says, I love the Combine Scream. Yeah, iconic sound effects in this game. You know, that reminds me, sometimes I'll hear a sound effect in a movie that was from the same stock library that Half-Life or Half-Life 2 used. And I can always tell. I can always tell right away. Ow. Oh, unlucky. This time I'm not going to try to stand near the explosion.
Science team. Let me say up front. Congratulations.
This dialogue from Dr. Breen is one of the few times where we kind of humanize the Combine a little bit. Because Dr. Breen is actually giving a speech to the Combine soldiers. This is really the only glimpse that we get into how they actually think. Because he's basically trying to motivate them by sort of threatening them or, you know, telling them how serious the situation is. Imagine Gmod with RTX. I mean, it would just look like this, right? Although it would be crazy to have all of the capabilities of Gmod with RTX Remix. I mean, there's nothing stopping people from doing that. You can use RTX Remix with Gary's mod. Uh-oh. They got back on the mounted gun. I used the antlines to cover. There we go. Oh, wait, that was the guy. Wait, oh, if he was only over just a little bit, if he was standing there instead of there, he would be the soldier that was stuck to this wall in Entropy 02. Continuity. Ah, I didn't see that grenade. Sorry, I got distracted by chat. I lost so much health. I promise I'm a real gamer. Hi, Enderzilla. How's the Cell Division chapter looking for you in RTX? I love this part of the map, and seeing it like this is crazy. Like it's weird because it feels like I'm playing Half-Life 2, but it also feels like a new game. Continuity has failed. Entropy 02 is now non-canon because that guy was standing in the wrong spot. You're right. Entropy 02 isn't canon. The Combine soldier wasn't standing in the right spot when he died. Ooh. I want to play the full RTX version on my little CRT. It's really goofy, but I actually think there would be a lot of value in playing this on a CRT. Like, hear me out. You could render it at a really low resolution, which means that your frame rate would be better because it wouldn't need to, you know, you could render at a lower resolution, but you would still get the volumetric effects, you'd still get the new textures. And I think the way that CRT monitors blend colors together and they have like low latency, I think it would look really good. I kind of want to see that now. I know somebody has. Hi, Magpie. Welcome. It's exactly what I'm hoping for. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of how like Lethal Company forces the game to render at a really low resolution, but then they actually use a lot of like volumetric effects. And so they're able to run it on basically any computer with the really heavy-duty volumetrics because it's always rendering at a tiny resolution. Ow. And it gives it that unique visual style. This is what Half-Life 2 looked like to me as a child. Yeah, I remember being kind of let down by Metroid Prime Remastered. Not that it was bad. I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination, but I just felt like the remaster of Metroid Prime couldn't really compare to what my imagination made Metroid Prime look like when I was a child. You know, like playing it on an old CRT TV, everything was kind of blurry, and I just sort of used my imagination to fill in the gaps of what that world was looking like. And no matter how good graphics get, it will never compare to what your imagination looks like when you're young and you're discovering things for the first time.
Is by all standards simply
Ow. Where's that turret? How do I... Am I stupid? Yeah, I am. Okay. We go this way first. I feel like there's a lot of frame drops here. Like, my frame rate is still showing it as above 40, but there's a little bit of, like, slowdown where I think the frame rate will very temporarily drop and then go back up. Magpie says, I regret selling my old flat CRT. Yeah, I kind of wish I still had a CRT monitor, honestly. It just has this aesthetic that we've kind of lost.
Sector 17 on watch. Concerning recent successes, indicative members of the Resistance science team. Let me say up front that I regret having to temper my heartfelt congratulations with a strong measure of disappointment. I wouldn't be doing my duty as your administrator if I didn't pass along the message I have received from our benefactors. The capture of Eli Vance is an event of major significance, make no mistake. And while it's true that conceivably we could have taken him at almost any time in the last several years, the manner of his capture may prove to have unexpected benefits.
They did have some new models on the monitor,
Noticed by all
which is a great attention to detail.
Vance's capture coincided with the act of giving shelter to Gordon Freeman.
I think we're okay.
This might cause other Resistance members to think twice before...
No, that's the original model, actually.
It might cause them to question his allegiance, even prompt some
to
turn him out or turn him over to our cause.
I think those are the original models, too. It's hard to tell, though.
Count on such developments. Dr. Freeman's reputation is such that other desperate renegades are likely to grant him a great deal of license in the spirit of spreading general chaos and terror. This brings me to the one note of disappointment I must echo from our benefactors. Command or second guess. This does not mean I can shirk responsibility for recent lapses and even outright failures. I have been severely questioned about these shortcomings, and now I must answer to you.
I think this is probably going to be where it ends, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Uh-oh. Big battle up ahead. Question about the Discord. I want to post that custom corkboard texture in the Discord. Is that like corkboard from this game, Half-Life 2 RTX? I mean, go for it. I think that would be in, like, the general media channel. Feel free. Or if it's Source Engine specific, I think there's also a channel for that, but it doesn't really matter. The Discord isn't super active. Really, I should try to post more stuff there. I'm surprised that the energy ball doesn't cast more light. I mentioned about making a custom texture for the corkboard in Eli's lab. Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, I would love to see that. You could post that in either the source modding, if there's like a media, I don't remember exactly which channels I've set up, but if there's like a source modding media, or if there's a general media, I'd love to see what you're making. You know, it would be awesome to see these assets in Half-Life 2 VR. Half-Life 2 VR is already so immersive. I know that the Half-Life 2 VR team is like... I know they've mentioned wanting to backport some of these assets from Half-Life 2 RTX. And if that does happen, that will be awesome. It would really bring Half-Life 2 into line with Half-Life Alyx, which is great for VR. Gives like some continuity. I really do think Half-Life 2 VR is a great first way to play Half-Life 2, as long as you don't get motion sick, because that was a big issue for me. But the energy ball is dark energy. It shouldn't cast any light. I don't know about that. The dark energy pulse rifle definitely casts a lot of light. Now get out of the way, Antlions. Get out of the way! Okay. I want to see someone play Half-Life 2 VR like a tactical shooter. Entropy Zero VR will be great for that when it, you know, is ready to play. Oh, I'm surprised that the demo goes this far. I thought it would have ended by now. Ooh, cool lighting. Demo goes decent length, yeah. Oh. I forgot that there was fire there. It's really cool to see how that fire casts a light that lights up this entire room like that. Oh. I got overexcited to use that gas can. Ow. I go now. Bye-bye. Have a good night, Enderzilla. Thanks for stopping in. Ow. Wow. Taking a lot of damage. Excited to see what they do with the assets in Kleiner's and Eli's labs. Yeah, those are such great story moments. The corkboard especially. Some of that stuff they can take from Half-Life Alyx. Uh-oh. Ow. There we go. Look at how the feathers on these antenna cast shadows. RTX. Is this not the way forward? Sorry, been a while. Of course. This is a good way to, like, okay, it's been a little bit since I played Nova Prospect, and I like how I could have just left that fight earlier, but I didn't know that I had to go this way. They kind of, like, make the path forward a little bit hard to find, so that you fight the boss first, and then you figure out where you're supposed to go. What a great game. Somebody should make, like, some mods for this game or something. That'd be cool. The RTX version doesn't have fears hanging lights. I think it actually does in some areas. Oh, is that it? Okay, that was kind of sudden. Orbifold Studios. Yeah, that was amazing. I'm very impressed by Half-Life 2 RTX. I know I've spent this stream kind of like tearing into it because I wanted to see what it's like, to see like how it was made, but the level of detail and the artistry on display is just unbelievable. I recognize some names on here, and there's a lot of names that I don't recognize as well. Someone should make some mods for this game. Some guy named Gary. 40 Lush. I know who that is. I probably missed some names that I should have recognized as well because I looked away. There's Wormslayer. A lot more NVIDIA credits than I expected. That's a lot of names, actually. Yeah, with this being an NVIDIA project. Blixabon. Blix, are you still in the chat? Mapbase is also credited. That merely makes me laugh. John Mapbase contributed. Yeah, and they have all the original credits too. That makes me smile. Captain X-Ray says, I feel like a lot of the criticisms towards this mod might be people on PC that can't run this. Yeah, I see that a lot with Half-Life Alyx, that it's kind of divisive because not everyone can play VR games, so they see Half-Life Alyx as not being accessible. And I kind of understand that, but sometimes, you know, the Half-Life series has always been about pushing game design forwards and trying new things. I don't think Half-Life games can always be accessible at launch. as much as we want accessibility for something like Half-Life Alyx, it's designed around a VR headset. You can't really play it without. And something like this, it's designed around having path tracing. You can't play this without path tracing. At least in the case of Half-Life 2 RTX, you don't need Half-Life 2 RTX. You can play Half-Life 2 just fine, you know, the way it was intended. But this is something where it's sort of experimenting with where lighting and environment design can go. Half-Life Alyx criticisms, I can understand being disappointed it's a VR title, but some of the complaints were wild. Yeah, I've seen that too. And I understand why like people feel like when a game requires some sort of piece of hardware, a VR headset or a special graphics card or something, not being able to play that, like that, it is frustrating, and I get it. But I think the point of Half-Life 2 RTX is to push the boundaries. It's not to make a game that is performant and runs on every piece of hardware. Like, I've got a pretty recent system with a 3090, and I was still having some performance issues with this. Not terribly. I mean, I think the frame rate was pretty stable. I was playing at a decent resolution. It was fine, but this wasn't like the most playable. I would definitely recommend for anyone's first time experience to play the original first and not Half-Life 2 RTX, unless you have like a 50 series card and Half-Life 2 RTX is out and you have all the settings sort of prepared where you don't need to change these settings mid-flight. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with playing the original game. This is just supposed to be taking it in a new direction, trying something new with new tools that are available. Alyx is still so great. At some point, it's on everyone's wish list. Yeah, I haven't tried the Half-Life Alyx no VR mod, but I do wish more people would try that, whether it's the no VR mod or some other way of remaking Half-Life Alyx without VR. It would be great to have the story accessible in a non-VR format, but the game itself, you know, as it was intended, is built around VR, and I think that's important to the experience. It's valuable in how it uses VR, even though that means not everyone is going to be able to play it, which is unfortunate. But eventually, I think it will become more accessible as headsets, which they already have. I mean, like the Quest series headsets have made VR way more widely accessible than it was before, and that will only continue to become more the case with time. I want to buy Half-Life Alyx even though I don't have VR to complete my Half-Life collection. Yeah, I haven't tried the no VR mod, so I don't know what the experience is like. I can't really speak to whether or not playing it with a no VR mod is worth it or not. I would, for me, like as a mega fan, it would be worth it just for the story, honestly. But I don't know if it holds up to the experience. But if you do have any chance to get a Quest 2 or maybe a secondhand, like a used headset or rent a headset or something, I think Half-Life Alyx is worth it. Have you played Codename Gordon? I actually haven't. I've heard so much about that game, but I don't think I've ever got around to playing it. Well, that was Half-Life 2 RTX. It's been a great ride. Really impressed with this. I think I'm going to wrap up stream here. Let me see if there's anyone to raid. I can't raid Bellon because she already raided me. Sad. What's this stream like? That possible raid. No, I don't think that's gonna be a great raid for right now. Yeah, no raid this time. Maybe next time. As far as next stream goes, feel free to join my Discord server or follow me on Blue Sky to see my updates of when I'm going to stream next. I haven't planned a Saturday afternoon stream. I usually stream Thursdays and Saturdays. Saturday might be a little bit busy, but I would like to fit something in the afternoon, but I'm not quite sure. I'm looking for more games to stream, but honestly, I'd like to do more creative streams like mapping streams. I just haven't been in a great place with my projects to do a mapping stream. I don't have any map content that I really want to make. There's a few different mapping projects that I want to get back into, but I don't have a great direction for them at the moment. So I'm undecided, but I will post an update on the Discord server and Blue Sky when I know for sure. Hope you think about more variety streams. I would like to stream other games. I think I've been too much of like a just Half-Life mods channel. And I would like to branch out more, but I've got to find a good way to do that where I feel like it would be transformative and would add something. So it's on my mind. There's like the Ashes series, which is a mod for Doom. I thought about playing that because I think that would be really good. Or there are some other games that I thought about streaming that are not Half-Life, but mods and indie games mostly, because I want to spotlight games that I think are creative and worth worth investigating, but aren't necessarily super popular. Looks like we just got an ad break. That's really bad timing. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you in the next stream. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and see you next time. Bye for now. Bye-bye.